I just know what has happened to my family. I know what's happened to a whole lot of other families. And a lot of people have called me, and I usually get, when they have issues, I get the phone calls, and then I get the press in, and I get the PR on them. And that's what I've been doing. And I've got stories that are just, they are heartbreaking. They are. And so, you know, Chesapeake right now, Albury McClendon has stepped down as far as president, CEO, and Albury is going to be investigated by the Senate. And I can tell you right now, there's a number of others that should be investigated. Others with a big O.
But can you get Halliburton?
Question.
Get
Why
Halliburton.
is Aubrey going to be investigated? It has nothing to do with drilling. It's his 2.5% interest that he got in each well. That's a business practice. Wouldn't you, in your business, do you work off of a commission?
Yes, I did.
Okay, that's all he was doing. It has nothing to do with their drilling.
Well,
Nada. Nothing.
There's a lot going on.
Nothing with the drilling. He gets
Wetzel County, West Virginia?
no, he
Lot of
gets
problems.
2.5%.
But he didn't say anything to the shareholders about
They
that,
knew
wouldn't
it.
you? No, they didn't.
Yeah,
That
you were
was
upfront.
not disclosed.
What
That's
got him?
why they were
What got him?
upset.
What way it came out is they didn't know he took a loan out of $1.1 billion on it.
lease more
They
land.
didn't know the loan. They knew he was getting
To lease-
2.5%.
lease
Check
more
that
land.
on the. That's on the internet.
I know what's
That's
on
on
the
the
internet.
internet. He's been getting it since what?
And then he flips them.
78?
And then you get a lease through one company, and the next thing you know, you're working with another company because they flip it, because they gave you $1,000 and they just flipped it for $8,000 to somebody else. We're just talking about flipping.
Yeah, but you're wasting my time while
Okay,
you're
well,
talking about.
I'm sorry.
Well, in this business of leasing, and the leases are all around me, and I'm not leasing, what do I do to keep them from, the court from communitizing that and taking it anyway?
I'm not an attorney. I can't answer that.
Could you tell me what DEP stands for?
Department of Environmental Protection. Department of Environmental Protection. Also, sorry.
You said they wanted to come here. Is it Sahara Club that wanted you to come?
Say again.
You said they wanted you to come here. Who is they? The Sahara Club?
It's an all-volunteer group, by the way. Southern Illinois is against fracturing our environment. None of us get paid anything.
Was your travel paid? Was your travel paid to be here?
No.
He was paid nothing to be here.
No,
And none of us have paid.
I don't charge it. I never charge anybody anything. As a matter of fact, I'm going on 2 hours of sleep, folks, so.
You know, I'm sure that a lot of y'all are really earnest and mean well, but we're not seeing any kind of specific individual incident. There have been well over 1 million frac jobs performed in the United States. We started in Wayne County in 1953. I did a frac job yesterday, and I really liked it. You know, the first one was kind of hard, you know, but after that, the next 200 went, you know, became enjoyable.
Well, like I said, the story's on the AP today about Pavilion, Wyoming, water contamination.
Are there different kinds of fracking than what, maybe he's talking about one and you're talking
There are,
about another?
there are. They don't use as high a pressure.
Plus frac jobs. He keeps saying there was something wrong with Aubrey McClendon. You know, what specific things? You know, my understanding is that there have been maybe 13, 15 incidences where hydrofracking directly was responsible for contamination of a well. I mean, there's a lot of...
Well, that would sure make me mad.
Well, that's true. How'd y'all get here? Did you walk? Did you fly? Did you flap your wings? How'd you get here? Because exactly what Terry Engelder said, there is some risk in living. You know, you farm. Have you ever put any herbicides on your ground? Have you ever put any pesticides on your ground? Never.
No,
Well, I suspect
No.
most people have.
no. I was organic. I raised organic beef. I cultivated. I didn't use atrazine. All right? I don't like chemicals. But I know some chemicals have to be used for certain things. I'm not here to dispute that. And I'm not even gonna get into this issue with you and argue about this, because I'm just telling you what has happened. Come to Pennsylvania, sir. I will show you communities where they are in lawsuits, where the whole community is in trouble. They have contaminated water. Do you see the brown water? That was my neighbor. The DEP said, drink it. Just like Terry Greenwood, drink it. We gave it to the DEP to drink. You know what they said? That's not in our policy. But you could drink it. My kids could drink it. My kids could bathe in it. My pond turned black. 3 acres. How did that happen? How did that happen?
That's what I'd like
2 well sites.
to explain.
Everything was running down off the well sites.
You know, I did a frac job yesterday.
I'm just telling you what happened on my property.
Is that responsible for that? Am I
So-
sick because I did a frac job yesterday?
Hey, you should be responsible for everything when you're using the chemicals and doing a frac job. That's your
I
business.
absolutely am. I'm on the hook. And we've done it for a long time, and so far, it's the source of a great deal of hydrocarbons for the United States. Maybe 25.
That's why the ports are converting over from import to export. Thank you.
I think, as I'm hearing very powerful voices this evening, I think what I can say is that we're scared. That the implementation of the horizontal drilling with the hydraulic fracturing is that we're scared for our residents, and I think communication is really, really important. So we've learned a lot tonight. There are a lot of questions, and I think we need to communicate better. So. Do you know, are you with a company, I assume? Okay. Do you work in this county?
Yes, I live in this county. I live on ground that has 5 oil wells that have been fracked on it. I drink out of a water well. I breathe this air. I've lived here. I was born in this county.
Okay.
So they are fracking in Wayne County already then?
We've been fracking in Wayne County since 1953. Thousands and thousands of times here. This is not new. There was no controversial technique known as hydrofracking until the newspapers in the East and the environmentalists in the East started calling it a controversial technique. It has been around for 60 years.
Has it been applied to horizontal drilling yet in Illinois?
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
They have
There
been?
hasn't been much horizontal drilling here, but I'm sure there have been a few hydrofracks. Well, what's the difference? Technically, what's the difference? Do you guys have any idea why fracking a horizontal well is any different than fracking a vertical well?
Okay, in 2005, I think this has already been mentioned, but let's go over it again. In 2005, Cheney met in a back room with CEOs of some oil and gas companies, I don't know all the companies, and they wrote a law. It's known in the vernacular as the Halliburton loophole. And they managed to get this passed as part of the 2005 energy bill. And what this Halliburton loophole did is it exempted the fracking from all the major federal environmental laws, including the Safe Drinking Water Act, the National Environmental Protection Act, the Clean Air Act, the Clean Water Act, I could go on. There's like a dozen, all the main environmental federal laws this process is exempted from. And this is because they did it because somebody had figured out how to do this horizontal fracking. This horizontal fracking, what they had done, and they are, they're correct. They've been doing fracking for decades. But this is at a different level of fracking. What this new invention is with horizontal fracking is going down the vertical, which is the traditional way, and then going vertically for a mile. Horizontally, I'm sorry, nervous. And that in order to break apart the shale and let the gas out, they have to put it under enormous pressure. And they have to use more chemicals. So they use, instead of using thousands of gallons of water, they're using millions of gallons of water. And they're using much higher pressure, using chemicals that they won't tell anybody what they are. They're saying they're trade secrets. And there's known carcinogens. And after they fracture, they don't know. See, this is an uncontrolled thing. They don't know what fractures are already under the ground. They don't know what it's going to cause to the earthquake areas. Right here, we are between the Wabash Fault and the New Madrid Fault. We don't know what's going to happen. We are totally unprotected here. There are no federal laws protecting us. The only thing in Illinois that is keeping track of this, and it's just barely keeping track of it, is they have to get a permit to drill, as if they were drilling a water well in the backyard, just telling the state, hey, we're going to drill a well. There is nothing that is controlling the pollution that they are making. This, when they drill, it does not all stay underground. What they force underground, water, sand, and hundreds of different kinds of chemicals, many of which they won't tell us what it is. They're not even required to tell anybody what they're putting underground. Excuse me, I'd like to finish.
I want to say one thing. The Senate in Illinois unanimously passed a bill last week requiring companies to list the chemicals that they're using in their fracking and to list the pressures that they use and to hydrostatically test the pipe that is in the ground. It passed the Senate unanimously with no amendments. It's in the House right now, and it's going through the House in Springfield with no amendments. That bill is going to pass and be signed by the governor. There will be regulations on hydraulic fracking.
And I have read the whole bill as it passed the Senate. It's like 3 pages long, and it's very weak. They can hide what they're doing, what chemicals they're putting in there, because they can claim their trade secrets. And they don't have to tell anybody if it's a trade secret, like you have to go to court to get them to divulge the trade secrets and prove that it's absolutely necessary that you know what they're using. They only have to divulge chemicals that they say aren't trade secrets, and only to the agencies that are keeping track, have jurisdiction, and only to a landowner that has some kind of claim for damages. Those are the only people that they have to divulge these chemicals to.
When they are going down to frack, they don't just go in one direction. Don't they go like in an explosive or pie-shaped
They go
directions, plural?
vertical, and then, depending on how they go horizontal, they can go horizontal in any direction from there.
In Illinois, they can only go one direction, state law, one direction off of the vertical.
Okay.
One direction.
How can you prove
That's a
that?
state law.
What law is that? I would really like to know.
That's the law right now off of the vertical in Illinois. They're trying, granted, the oil companies and some people are working to change that. Right now, off of the vertical, they can only go one direction.
Okay, Liz, you want to say something?
Won't be near us, it'll be up there
Okay.
near Pennsylvania, that's where the drilling is.
Okay, now, it all sounds like gloom and doom. And, we really don't want to have everybody feeling gloom and doom when they leave this room. There are things that we can do. We can go to our county boards and tell them that we want them to, well, you go on. Tell them what SAFE is asking.
Well, first of all, again, I'm trying to take in a lot of information in this room this evening. It sounds like landowners may want to protect themselves. There's a lot of information flying around, so I would encourage landowners to do what they can to protect themselves. If you have concerns about this, talk to your town officials, talk to your county officials, and ask them what you want, okay? And we're here to support the process of protecting the individual. Obviously, there's been a massive breakdown in communication. That I can tell right now, so we need to get talking. Because as a resident in this Illinois County, I'm scared to death about losing my water. And I'm scared on behalf of other residents, so that's where we're coming from.
You live in Williamson County, right?
I do live in Williamson, and when I did the
You
research,
don't really have to worry very much about it because
I'm worried for everybody, okay? When I first started researching this, I was initially, of course, worried about myself, but then I read what was happening, and I became worried for everyone. So that's why I've done this. This has been very difficult. That's why I've done this. So I'm scared for everybody's water, and there are also, as industry really moves in, there are questions about air pollution, question about soil contamination.
we're talking about fracking.
Yes.
Okay, let's not talk about air pollution.
That's part of it. No, that's part of it. You're talking about the assault on the environment. The air pollution is
Talking about the oil and gas industry.
I'm talking about,
Oil and gas industry not to be here, it's not about hydrofracking, because you don't like it.
okay, I'm talking about the entire process of hydraulic fracturing in every aspect. That includes the air contamination from the waste pits, from the condenser stations, from various aspects. So it's the whole process. We're worried about the air contamination, the soil contamination, and the water contamination.
I'm sure you mean well, but you're like 70 years too late here. We've been doing this in this county. A lot of the farmland in this county was built with money from oil and gas production. There's no farmer in this county that didn't benefit from it.
Right, I'm simply
There are
worried.
farmers that were damaged by it, I'm sure.
Are you still using the same pressure and volumes to frack that you did in 1950?
If we could get more pressure and volume, we would do that. Our problem isn't that our fracks grow too high or too long, is that we can't get enough height and extension to get the kind of efficiency of flow that we want.
Can you understand though why, at least in reading what's happening to residents in other states, why we'd be scared?
Are you familiar with the protocols of Zion? Because Gasland reminds me in every respect of the protocols of Zion. It was a bad piece of propaganda that won't go away. No matter how many of the facts are refuted, disproven, people that are true believers simply believe what they want to believe. And that's what I keep hearing. It's, whole counties, whole townships, whole states are destroyed by the oil and gas industry. We're at this terrible risk for continuing to do something here that we've done better and better and more efficiently and more safely for the last 70 years.
I'd like to make a comment, please. Sorry. This is about the water in Pennsylvania. What caused their tap water, when the mash was held to it, to ignite? What was that?
Sure.
Methane gas that comes up from a shallow formation that they didn't seal off with the cement.
But they've had no problems before the wells were put into place. They had no problems with their water.
But there has been some places that's not had no wells that you can still burn with water.
But
What I'd like to encourage the residents here to do is please do your own research. Please go to our website, don'tfractureillinois.org. Look at this for yourself. Don't take his word, don't take my word. Research and look at this for yourself and make your own decisions. If you're concerned, go to your town officials, go to your county officials, and ask them for what you want. Tell them how you feel, ask them for what you want, okay? And having spoken with Pennsylvania farmers on the phone and hearing what's actually happening to real people on the ground, we're scared. I'm scared. for myself, but then immediately I thought of all the residents in our region. Why is the contamination happening? There's not any question that it's happening. The question is why it's happening. And my heart goes out to residents who will be immediately affected by this. And I would just encourage you to do your own research. Look at the situation for yourself and make up your own minds. And take action. And we will support that process to the best of our ability.
I just want to have one closing statement. I want to thank everybody for coming here. And I just want to say that we are not alone in this. We are concerned residents of Illinois. My father was born here in Wayne County. My cousins have land here in Wayne County. They have wells. I'm worried about them. But we're not the only ones in Illinois worried about it. New York has a moratorium on it. They're trying to get it banned in the whole state. Counties have it banned in New York. Ohio had earthquakes that have been directly related to the drilling. England has had, let me finish, please.
Water disposal well.
Yes, thank you for saying that. It was a disposal well of the fracking fluids. Let me finish, please. Let me finish, please. In England, they started fracking. They had earthquakes. The companies admitted that they caused the earthquakes, okay? France has banned it in the entire country. Bulgaria has a moratorium on it. South Africa is trying to ban it. We are not just crying wolf here. This is a real problem. We have a farmer whose farm is ruined, okay? It is happening. Illinois is trying to pass legislation, but it is pretty weak. We do not want our wells contaminated. I do not want an earthquake. That's why we're here. I'm from here. I'm from Wayne County. I'm from Union County. So please take what we have heard here tonight into consideration. Our website has so much information on it. Liz created it. It has pages and pages of evidence. So please look at the website. Look at the website, not just ours. It's all over national news. Every single day is in the news. So thank you for coming. Please research it yourself.
Yes, say the name of the website.
Thank you again, everyone. Don't frack.
Well, the problem with this is, if they have specific
So, but anyhow, that's what's happening. And we've got so many people up there. We have.
No, we don't sign, the
You need
neighbor
to
does, and, we fill it.
and that's what they do. They pressure everybody. You know, that's what they do. They pressure everybody.
So you don't have much choice, do you?
If you see my email, that's my name. It'll be that bad.
Okay. Yeah. There are choices.
Right, and I wish I could have had a longer conversation with the gentleman.
Well, a lot of these folks now understand what's happened because the smoke is settled, the dust is settled, and these wells are not lasting and producing like they said they are. They're supposed to. So,
What's left is a mess.
exactly.
This lease